Sometimes you gotta just take your own credit when you're doing shit.
If you if that's too close to you, you can slide over towards me a little bit if you want.
Okay.
I figured if we gonna chill, we might as well
Yeah,
chill.
appreciate you. Appreciate you. This is nice.
Oh fuck, let me close this door. Oh shit, I'm all low and I'm not sitting down here. I'm not sitting down here having you towering over me and shit. I like that idea though, what you were just saying there. What you want to do.
Yeah.
You guys think of like a name or anything?
Thinking possibly the circle.
Yeah.
Just because the general group of us, but we'll see. We're still trying to iron everything out. Still in the very, very beginning stages of it all.
Ooh. I don't know why I did that. I just got this, John. It's not terrible. Is this the one you drink?
When I dibble, I'm more of whiskey, bourbon, but if I dibble and dabble on beer, it's usually this.
Cheers, my
Cool,
guy.
okay? Yeah, man. Cheers.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate you having me.
All right, let's go. Welcome back to the show, everyone, here at the Awakened Avoidant with myself and police officer Ryan Saunders, Montgomery County police officer, former Philadelphia police officer.
Correct.
Current Montgomery County police officer. So Ryan here, someone I grew up with. He's a father. He's a son. Mm-hmm. He's a brother. So I want to first start off by thanking you, honestly, and for doing the job that you do. You know, most of us recognize today, you know, that modern day policing has become extremely complex, you know, and challenging. So, you know, thank you for being the guy to take on that risk.
Appreciate you having me, man.
So yeah, thanks for showing up, man. So what's up? Let's go back to the beginning. How you been?
Good, man. Been busy.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, been real busy.
Yeah. What you been up to? What you got going on?
Working, man. Working, being a daddy. You know, just trying to, you know, stay above water.
Yeah.
While always being on the go.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Comes with life. Comes with work and careers and being a father and son, brother, and everything in between it. So, you know, I'm doing all right.
I see you're the diehard Eagles fan, right?
Oh, yeah.
I love that video that you post every year. Where you at the stadium just like screaming on somebody, right?
Yeah, me and a bunch of my homies. It's probably 8, 9, or maybe even 10 of us. We do one Eagles away game every year. And we've been doing that for the past probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So we've done, that video was in Dallas, but we've gone to Dallas, obviously, New York, Atlanta. Some of us did Miami. We did London one year. All of us did London.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And then we got a trip coming up this year. Looks like possibly New Orleans, but we're still trying to figure that part out.
I like that. the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Is it officers as well or just friends?
Yeah, I mean, most of them are cops. Most of us, you know, collectively are cops. Some people aren't, which is fine too. We all got, you know, friends outside of police work, and not just a bunch of cops that hang together. And we only hang with cops. It's not, at least with us, how we roll. It's not like that. But it's a mixture of everybody that usually goes on the trips, and you know, we try to get away and, you know, for 3 or 4 days experience, you know, going to the Eagles game and having some fun and coming home and get back in the swing of things.
Yeah. Yo, I love seeing cats that I know growing up. Like, you know, I'm watching you on the internet, not stalking your shit, but, you know, from afar, just seeing you grow up from young dude. Oh, you were always super cool. Just one of them dudes. Always been cool. Smooth talking. You know how you are. You know what I mean? But super cool. And then seeing you like the evolution of the way you dress, the gear. I know for a little while, weren't you like doing some modeling or something like that?
Well, I did a little dabble.
You a little dabble, a little sprinkle?
I went out to LA for a very quick hot minute.
Yeah.
My brother was living out there at the time doing some. He's in the music game a little bit, and he was out in LA staying there for years. I flew out there and did a couple photo shoots and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you look good though. You know what I mean? Because I know you from when you were a kid. So however they had you lay, you're fit. It was right.
Yeah.
You look like you were definitely playing a part.
Yeah,
on some. What's that pretty black and Asian looking boy that be doing now? Tyson Beckford.
Shit.
Smooth. Just like a smooth kind of look like that.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was on the level of Tyson, but yeah, I was trying to do my thing.
Yeah,
I was trying to explore different things and do different shit. Everybody gets so focused on wanting to be a certain person and do one thing and not explore and live life. So I mean, I try, at least now in my later years, I try to do that more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, right? How as a kid, if you were to do something like that, we would have clowned you. We would have been on you. Like, what is this guy? Like, who does he think he is trying to do something with himself? You know what I mean? He's out here trying to do the things that we don't think are cool, but now we look back like, damn, we wasted so much time trying to please people and fit in. Like, I should have been doing everything. I should have been like, juggling, doing everything, trying everything. I should be fishing, running, hang gliding, like all types of shit. Now as you get older, you realize, like, let me do those things, because the clock is ticking.
I started golfing a couple years ago.
Yeah? Yeah, how's that going?
I'm not good.
No,
not good at all. But it's like a mental health kind of stress release, because you get on the golf course for anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, and your mind is so focused on trying to play the game well, whether it be where you're trying to hit the ball, the distance, what kind of clubs you're using, the wind, everything comes into play. So you're so focused on doing that, then you don't have the time to worry about the stresses of the outside world.
Yeah, I like that. I never thought about that. You could, that's interesting. We all have these different methods of how we turn off the noise, shut the inner dialogue for a minute and just be present and, focused on trying to better yourself and, like you said, turn the noise off. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I never thought about that. I tried to golf one time, but I underestimated the shit out of the physicality of golf.
Oh, yeah.
So I showed up with a golf pro. I had a session with a golf pro, but I went with a bad back, dog. Like I went and my back was already hurting.
Yeah.
And by the end of that, my back was so finished. It was so devastated that it scared me away from golf forever.
Yeah.
And I felt like a dummy just for showing up like that. The arrogance of an ex-athlete thinking, I'm just going to show up and hit the ball 300 yards.
Yeah.
And my back was blown out.
You get out there in May, June, July and do it. By the time you're done, that 3-5 hours, you on your ass. You gonna sit down, you gonna lay down, you might even take a nap afterwards on some old man shit.
Yeah, I definitely understand more about Tiger's situation, like his knee, his lower back, all the torque that you're putting on your core, and the energy that you're generating, the force coming from your legs.
Yeah.
Like, I totally get it. It doesn't look physical in nature because, but doing it, it's way different.
As soon as you step up there, everything matters. Like just like you said, foot placement, how you swing the ball, how you turn to not, pull muscles or, hit the ball correctly or try to hit the ball correctly.
How long you been doing it for?
I've been trying it for like 5 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you gotten better?
Better than the first day, but I ain't, I'm nowhere near as good as some of the, some of the other friends and cats I see playing
that's
with.
Good. But at least you could show up and, smack the ball around a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I try.
I like that. I've always wanted to do that, especially as we age. Take up something that's slightly less physical in nature. Like I know there's a degree of physicality to that, but it's not like playing football or something like that. Me trying to play football or throwing basketball around, like my days of that probably number. My knees and all that stuff.
Yeah. Are you still involved? Do you still get involved with the football thing? Coach,
absolutely
not.
Like that? No. Absolutely not. I'm a sore loser, man.
You was the man, man.
Yeah, was the man. I'm a sore loser. So, being not the man is quite the adjustment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I appreciate it, though, because it was a learning experience, very humbling, changed my perspective on everything, the world, on school, even like I really don't believe in picking kids last anymore, which is something that I know a lot of people would probably disagree with because they need to feel what that feels like. But coming from someone that was always picked first to go and pick last, oh my God, it was the worst feeling ever.
Yeah.
And I experienced this at like 27. You know, I'm like a grown man getting picked last on the basketball court, ready to go home crying and shit. Like, this is crazy. So I can't imagine what that does to kids. So I think if there's another way to do that, to have them know what that feels like without actually breaking them down every single day, every time they go out to play sport, like, do we really need to do that to the kid?
Yeah.
You know? So that was my experience with that.
What's up?
So let's start back at the beginning, if you don't mind. Could we go all the way back, young Ryan? Were you born? Where were you born at? Because I know you came
from
up
Uptown.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mount
So
Airy,
I
Philadelphia.
met. Oh, that's what's up. I met you in probably this is like high school, so it was definitely at the middle school. I'm pretty sure it was high school, right? We
Yeah,
met
it was
around
high
high school.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you had came from down the way. So let's go. Where you start at?
So, born and raised in Philly, Uptown, Mount Airy. For those who don't know, 900 block of McPherson Street, McPherson, Stanton Avenue. A lot of people know the big church right there. So it's Stanton and Gowan, that general area right there. Born and raised there. Went to elementary school there. JSJ, John Story Jenks. Myself, actually all my siblings. Myself, my younger sister, and my two older siblings, my brother and my sister. We all went to the same elementary school. And then graduated from there, and I was in ninth grade. I went to Lincoln Hall Motivational High School. I was there, and from there, you want me to keep going?
Oh yeah, it's cool. My bad.
No, it's all good.
I wanted to make sure I shut my phone off.
From there, I moved. My mom and my pop moved out to Hatfield, and that's when I started at North Penn.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started at North Penn. Obviously, I never understood, or I didn't understand until later, that a lot of the kids that I was interacting with had came up together from kindergarten. So all these kids went to the same schools, same middle schools, and now a high school together. So I get there, I don't know fucking nobody.
Yeah.
And I remember my first week of being there was the 10th grade. I think I went to the wrong classes for like a week.
Oh yeah.
before I got acclimated to things. And then high school was cool as far as I was concerned. I mean, me, my man Kev.
Yeah.
That was my right hand. So yeah, I met him, and we got kind of hit things off, and all throughout high school. I mean, I had other friends outside of him, but that was my number one. That was my man.
Y'all were locked in. You think it was because y'all came from similar backgrounds and experience, both coming up here from Philly around the same time?
Yeah, around
I know
the same
he came
time.
a little later than you, right?
He came. I think he came a couple months after me.
Oh, okay.
Maybe almost a year after me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up meeting and connecting and having a bond. Because when he got here, he didn't know nobody either.
Yeah.
So we connected, had a bond, and to this day, that's my man. We don't talk as much as we used to, but when we do talk, we pick up like right where we left off.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing changed with me.
That's what's up. I love that. I still see him, on the boat and shit like that. I love him too. I loved all the cats that came up from the Philly, because for me, it was like, I was born there, but I'm like back and forth. I'm not in it like you. Like, I came up here way earlier, but seeing you guys come up here, it's like, oh man, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like a touch back home, basically. So
it was a trip when I first got here, man. Remember the first night we stayed in the house in Hafen when we were living there. It was too quiet. It wasn't no street lights. It wasn't no sidewalks. It wasn't no sirens.
Slow.
Yeah, it was nice, but it was strange at the same time. It took some adjusting. It took I think that first summer, me and my sister, we was any chance we could get in a car to go back to our old neighborhood to hang out with our friends there. We would try to do that, and then after a while, that just stopped happening.
Yeah, that's funny too, because when I first came up here, I was like a kid. I was like 4, but I used to go back and forth probably all the way up till I was like 15, 16, something like that. Yeah. But when you're a kid, you don't really recognize a place to be dangerous. Like, you don't really know, like, what's going on around you, but you don't have the kind of fear of it that you probably should have. So my grandma used to always say, she'd be like, be careful when you go down there. This is like Southwest Philly. No, this is my white grandma would tell me that when I would go down there to visit my black grandma. She'd be like, be careful. I'm like, be careful of what? Like, we just like run around the block. When the lights go down, we go home. It's like it's like regular. We always stay on the block. You can't go over the block because shit going on over there.
It's so different now, man.
Yeah, but she would always say that, and I didn't really understand it till I got older. I'm like, oh yeah, you could catch one that ain't meant for you by accident down there running around as a kid.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
now having a son, I prefer he not go down there for
Ain't nothing wrong
anything
with that.
other than a visit. You know.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with it. I got my daughter's. She'll be 7 this year, and it don't matter where I'm at, whether we in Philly or out here somewhere. Like my head is always on a swivel.
Yeah.
Because I believe it has a lot to do with the way, I guess you would say the society and the current state of policing and, how everything it is now in the world. It's fucking crazy out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I'm out with her, I'm on a swivel at all times. Like, she can't do the things that we did when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like, I can't let her just go outside and be like, keep a little bit of an eye on her. She'll be back, when the street light come on.
Yeah.
Like, she can only go but so far away from me.
Yeah.
It might be overprotective on my part, but I feel like I have to be that because the world is different.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't. Even if you are overprotective, is there really a such thing?
Yeah.
Protection is protection.
Yeah.
Or whatever you think. Like, I'm gonna protect you regardless of whether you like the way it feels or not. It just has to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I came up here before I even got a chance to, as they say, jump off the porch. Like, I was still on the porch as a kid playing on it. Behind, like, my dad's house had the bars on the porch and shit like that, bars on the windows. And as a kid, you don't really realize what that's for. You kind of think it's like fun, but now looking back, I'm like, damn, I was living in a mini jail basically, but for our protection.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now that's not my kid's experience, and hopefully that'll never be his experience.
Yeah.
So growing up in suburban area, you get used to what's going on around here. You graduate high school, graduate. What do you do after that? What's the move after that?
So after that, I graduate high school. I go to the police academy.
Straight away?
Straight away. Just about. I go to the police academy. I entered the police academy when I was 19.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Entered the police academy. I was 19, and then obviously when I got out of the police academy, nobody would hire me because I was 19.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any life experience per se. So I went to IUP for a year. Stayed there for a year. IUP was cool. It was dope. Met a lot of cool people. Never had any issues there. My pop, obviously they were, helping me pay for school. My pop at the time had gotten sick, so going back to school wasn't really an option as far as like the finances was concerned. So I ended up coming back, and when I was 20, like a month or two before my 21st birthday, I ended up getting hired as a police officer with Temple.
Okay.
So I was able to have a gun, but I couldn't go to the bar. That sounds kind of strange.
Yeah,
but
that is crazy.
20 years old, that's when I started this journey in law enforcement with Temple.
Yeah. So you started down in the thick of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What was that like? First off, let me backtrack real quick. What made you want to become an officer? Because that's a pretty young age to decide. What sent you in that direction?
To be honest with you, it kind of happened by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. The original goal, I wanted to go into like the law enforcement realm, but I was heavy into like forensic science, and that was the ultimate like route or direction I saw myself going in. But the schools that I wanted to go to were way too expensive. The schools that I know that would have helped me later on in life, and as far as that as being a career, it just wasn't happening. So I ended up having a conversation with, I believe, I don't remember Mr. Catch. He was a teacher at North Monco in the protective services thing over there, and he had a conversation with him one day and was like, "What you doing with yourself?" I was like, "I don't know. So I can come in here, do my work, talk some chicks, and go the fuck home."
Regular shit.
Regular shit. He was like, "Yo, you gotta figure it the fuck out. Like, shit's ticking." Like, you got the military, or firefighter, or law enforcement. It's like you got one of those options, and I ended up going into law enforcement.
What was it like down there? Because like most of the people that are going to see this is going to know and understand that the city of Philadelphia is dangerous. I read one time that there's a statistic that there was more people that died in a single year in Philadelphia that died in the Afghan war, I believe it was.
Oh, wow.
Like 300 to 500 per year, not in the entire war, but just in a single year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is unbelievable. There's more people dying. Your chance of dying in the city of Philadelphia is greater than your chance of a combat veteran dying. That's unbelievable. What was it like for you, experience wise?
It was a shell shock because granted I'm from uptown. I had family that lived down north, like grandmoms and grandparents and cousins and stuff like that. So when we was passing through north, it was just a visit. And then as I got older, and obviously getting hired at Temple, I ended up going down there and linking up with one of my call him my old head because he is older. My man Tim Moore. He was from the streets, and his life kind of flipped differently. Like he started out in the streets, kind of came up in the streets, and decided he wanted to be a cop. So me and him ended up linking. I had some knowledge about law enforcement. He had knowledge about the streets. So we ended up linking up, and he says, "You teach me about police work, I'll teach you about the streets." And we ended up linking up, bonding, and we was pretty much rolling from there. But during that time, and even still now, like that area down there was fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucked up. It's actually I went through there probably a couple months ago. The area in itself has changed, like as far as like the visual aspect, like the buildings and sports complexes and shit like that. It didn't look like that back when I worked there, but Temple was. I mean, North Philly in general. It was different.
Yeah, absolutely. For most people, again, people that see this will know, you could be on Temple campus and shit could be all good, and you could walk one block to the left, and the shit be different.
Yep.
A totally different world. So you got to keep your head on the swivel.
Yeah.
Recently, there was a police officer that lost his life down there, right?
Yeah, police officer or Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace to him. That's a rough situation. My one of my homies, he's actually a lieutenant there now. Chris was a very good friend of his, so he even to this day he's taking things very, very hard. And unfortunately I know what that's like because I experienced that situation not once but twice in my career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. When things like that happen, how I guess like when it happens, how do you experience that?
Well, when you first start, in this career, and a police officer is killed, you feel bad. You feel bad for that officer. You feel bad for his family or her family, and you go through the motions of, what if that was me and stuff like that, until it kind of hits you at the front door. And I say that because back in August of 2012, a Philadelphia police officer by the name of Moses Walker was killed. He was on duty. He was leaving work. Two guys came up to rob him. They ended up shooting him and killing him. And I was the first car on location. So first car on location, he's on the sidewalk. I pick him up, roll him over, and then I recognize that it's him. I think there was
Was he in plain clothes?
Yeah, he was in plain clothes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he was in partial clothes. I think he had if I'm not mistaken, he might have had his police pants on. But he had a regular, like, shirt or jacket on, I forget. But he ends up getting shot. I'm the first car on location. I think it's a homeless dude or maybe a crackhead or something like that walking down the street. And I remember trying to lift him into the car. And I ended up yelling to the dude walking down the street, I said, "Come help me." And the dude was like, "Nah." And I was like, "Come fucking help me." And he ran across the street, helped me put him in the car, and then he skated off. So I remember I'm in the back seat of the police car, and I'm trying to get Moses to kind of stay with me in a sense. And I'm like, "Who shot you, Moses? Who shot you?" And he's kind of looking at me, and his eyes rose back in his head, and he stopped breathing. And he died right there in my arms back to the police car.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was in August of 2012.
Whenever I sit down and have these conversations, they're just genuine combos that I want to have with people and let them just, live out their experience and, just speak their truth. And I never know what someone is going to tell me.
Yeah.
And that, like, I didn't bring you on here for that story, but, the fact that has happened to you is unbelievable. And for lack of words, sorry that you had to experience that. You know, although it was nothing, of my doing. That's an unfortunate thing for a person to have to experience, especially for the people that are out here trying to serve, the public and the community. For those people to be their ones losing their life, it's an unfathomable reality, of our world. You just wouldn't think of something like that. It's like people going around killing doctors and EMTs and killing dentists and shit. Like, what are we doing here? Those people, did they know that the man whose life they took was an officer? Do you know anything about it? Did they get caught?
Yeah, they got caught. We went to trial. I did the whole court thing and testify, understand. I felt like I was up there forever. It might have been an hour or two. They ended up writing an article about my testimony and the whole situation. I believe the Enquirer wrote an article. I believe it's called No Immunity.
Okay.
I believe that's what the name of the article is. But
what's that in reference to, that title, No Immunity?
It was just a reference to that incident, the murder, the trial, and kind of the aftermath. A lot of my testimony was, mentioned in the article.
Okay.
I've been through so much shit. I think immunity might have been a different situation.
Okay.
So that might be wrong on that, but essentially, I've been through some shit down there. And then the second situation was my man. It was one of my homies, Sergeant Robert Wilson III. He was, if you don't remember, it was in March of 2015. He was the police officer that went to the GameStop.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was my man.
I remember that story.
So when I referenced my 7 or 8 homies that we go on these Eagles trips with, a lot of us who were already bonded at that point became even closer because, Rob was a part of that group.
Oh, okay.
Part of that group. We all hung out. We did game nights. We did whatever.
Damn.
And his death made us even closer.
Are you able at all, I don't know how you feel about it, if you'd rather not, okay too, can you elaborate on that story or explain how that went at all? Because I vaguely know what happened. Yeah. Do you know? You do know, but can you share?
So that incident, Rob was and his partner were working that day. I believe Rob had gone to the GameStop to buy his son a birthday present. It was nothing uncommon where we would go somewhere and go into one of the local stores, and whether it be GameStop or Bodega or something, supermarket, whatever. So it wasn't uncommon for us to go into the store, but just that particular incident, Rob goes into the GameStop for the purpose of buying a game or something for his son, and his partner, which is not uncommon, stayed in the car, unknowing that it was like a blizzard that day. So when Rob walked into the store, he didn't know that while he was in the store, 2 dudes had walked down kind of like a backside alleyway, kind of open, like an open sidewalk, came into the store and announced the robbery. So I believe one positioned himself on one side of the store, the other positioned himself closer to Rob, announced the robbery. Rob turned around and engaged in a gunfight with both of them at the same time. But it was some real heroic shit that he did, because while he's engaged with the gunfight, now mind you, when this all happened, he's standing at the counter. Before he engages in the gunfight, he steps to the right and draws the fire away from the employees and other customers inside. So he drew that directly to himself. Yeah. And ultimately he, was killed.
Damn. The fact that the man had the wherewithal to, to do something that heroic is amazing, and
warrior,
under fire.
Man. Straight warrior.
Because I imagine there's probably no amount of training that can prepare you for that moment. Who has ever thought about that moment, engaging in a gunfire, a shootout with 2 men in which you're in the center of a crossfire?
Yeah,
that's unbelievable. And rest in peace too.
Yeah, rest in peace to Rob, always.
For sure.
I actually wear them on my wrist. Got a bracelet I wear.
Yeah, I like that, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You carry a lot.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I hide it well.
Yeah. When you see people that growing up that's just walking around carrying the weight of these unimaginable tragedies, it's just like, what do you do for yourself outside of golf to keep your keep a balance and, you know, keep yourself present, and so you don't slip into a depression. Is there any resources for that? Do the police offer any resources for
They do.
you?
During that time, I guess you could say I was able to, because I didn't want to talk to nobody after Moses got killed. I don't want to talk to nobody. It was just, I wasn't ready to talk to anybody. So during that time, I was able to kind of finagle my way out of it. And my mindset, I was like, I'll keep going to work and, you know, keep moving this stuff from thinking.
Yeah.
But when Rob got killed in 2015, that was a second blow. And then during that situation, I got a phone call from my lieutenant at the time, who's now a captain, and another inspector at the time, who's now a deputy commissioner. They both basically told me, you can't come back here until you go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So that's why I ultimately, you know, did do that to get back to work. So yes, there are resources available, whether it be they make you go, or if you need to talk to somebody, there's resources, not just within the police department. Obviously, they have, you know, connections with different organizations outside the police department that you can go and talk to people. But as far as like the depression stuff, I think that's inevitable. It's just, during that time, was I depressed? Yeah, absolutely. Do I just struggle with depression now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a part of it all.
Yeah. What do you do for yourself? Do you have anything that you do? Any rituals? How do you stay in front of that?
The golfing obviously helps.
The cigars.
The cigars. I'm having the cigars.
Yeah.
I like a cigar. Like, you know, because you can't golf all year.
Yeah.
You know, I like going to the cigar bar. That's like my thing. If I leave the crib, I'm going to the cigar bar.
Yeah.
If I ain't at the cigar bar, I'm in the crib. Like, I'm not really doing, or I'm with my homies. I'm not really doing too much of anything else. That's now. Back then, I wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
I was drinking. I was not giving a fuck about myself. Not giving a fuck about nobody else.
Yeah, I imagine that's a hard thing to process, especially not talking to anybody. So by the time you get to that second one and you have to go, they force you to go talk to somebody. I don't want to ask you, what was that experience like? That's a lot that you just had to, I imagine, unpack. You had to reach back and then deal with the first, and then the second, and
basically,
unpack it all.
Yep.
Yeah, they forced you to do that.
Yep. That's the perfect way of putting it.
Yeah.
When I had to go, I had to reach back to the first situation, get through that, or not really get through it, but talk my way through that situation. Moving on to the second one, talk myself through that to a point where they felt, all right, we think that you're able to return to duty.
Yeah, and just reach a place of acceptance of what it is and moving forward and put you back out there. You know, from the community, it's nice to know that those resources are available and that, you know, they're providing that and making it mandatory so that, you know, at least in this area or wherever the police station that was, you don't have police officers that are just out there on the edge, you know, just hanging on by a thread. So
another thing I do is I just became a part of Montgomery County SISM team.
What's that? SISM?
Yeah, I forget the acronym for it, but it basically it's a group of law enforcement individuals or psychiatrists, doctors who are firefighters who have all experienced some type of trauma on the job or know of someone who's dealt with some type of trauma on the job. So what we do if there's a critical incident that happens with a police officer, whether a police officer is killed in the line of duty or a police officer is involved with a shooting or they respond to an incident where it might be a death or a child death or something like that, a group of us, whether it be one or several, will respond to that police station or at least try to get in contact with either that officer or the group of officers who were working during an incident and basically try to talk to them.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic for, at least for me, to try to make sure nobody goes down a dark path like I did. And I'm pretty sure I would hope that it's helpful for them knowing that, you know, it's people there that care about them, that have a conversation instead of just kind of being brushed off to, you know, you're a cop, you're tough, deal with it type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like healed people healing people. So you get to be a support system for someone, and in turn they get to know that support is coming from someone that's genuinely experienced it and would know. So it's nice that you get to help out in that fashion. I gotta tell you a funny story real quick. So I recently actually, I'm always like moving around. I never personally wanted a career, me per se. Like I just like the freedom of being able to move. I just never saw myself doing any one thing forever.
Yeah.
Like forever is a long time. Besides for being a dad and now married, like those things forever. But like a career, I don't know. So either way, recently I did police tests just to see if I
Okay.
was capable of doing it. Failed the shit out of it, bro. Yeah, I'm telling
It's
you,
all right.
I showed up just arrogant, man,
Yeah.
thinking I'm this old athlete. You know what? I failed the running part.
Word?
I couldn't do the running part. It was like, and it wasn't even long. It was like under,
Like a mile and a half.
yeah, in like 13 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that shit. I showed up thinking just because I work out and I'm active, like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna smoke this. I was the slowest person out there because it's like young guys. Definitely came in last. Didn't even finish. It was so embarrassing and humiliating for me.
I failed at my first time going to police academy.
Yeah.
I was 19, in shape. At least I thought.
Yeah.
Did an entry test for the police academy. Fucking failed this shit.
Yeah.
The run.
Yeah.
So during that time, they gave you a second and final opportunity to retake the test a week later, so that you can pass and get in the police academy. Man, I ran every fucking day after that because I was so determined and I was so heartbroken. Not really heartbroken, but like I was so disappointed in myself that like I told everybody I was going to do this thing.
Yeah.
And then I failed at it. So that week, I ran. Took the test a week later, passed it, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, same for me. I actually needed it. I'm actually appreciative of that failure because it got me back out there to running again. So now I would smoke that. I could probably run it backwards in that time. But just knowing, like, just to check in with myself to be like, hey, you're not that dude. Don't step out there. Like you're still that dude and you're not him. Like the stories that we tell ourselves, I believe now going through that we need to assess along the way and make sure and check in with yourself. Like, am I still that? The story that I'm telling myself, can I still do that? Let me get up and try and make sure and just, do all the things. So that was a funny story for me because I took a tremendous L out there. I feel like I got to go back out there and do it. And I don't even really want to be a police officer. I just can't take the L.
Yeah.
That's a crazy L to take, bro.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is.
With all these
I took fucking, physical agility tests. I didn't fail any ones after that. But I'm not a great test taker, so I had to deal with the physical aspect part. Go to the police academy. Now, unless you get hired while you're in the police academy, you got to go find a job yourself. So you got to do all this shit all over again.
Yeah.
I must have took over the years, man, 30, 40 written tests.
Oh shit.
There's some guys who are police officers now. They took one test, passed it, and got hired.
Yeah.
I took 30, 40 tests. I was at IUP. I remember I drove back in the middle of the night. From college, drove back to this area, took a police test, jumped in the car, and drove back out to IUP in the same day.
Yeah, damn, you were determined to be a police, bro.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that for you. You weren't about to take no for an answer.
Nah, not at all. But eventually it worked out, and I'm here now.
Yeah, I felt the shit out of that, and I had people there supporting me because I could tell like there were some black dudes there, so they were definitely trying to like help me through it, push me through it. I was like, I appreciate it. I feel like I owe it to them to go back and just do this thing.
Absolutely.
And myself, just cause. So yeah, props to you for doing it.
Appreciate it.
And there was actually police officers from the city taking this test because I guess the pay rate is different. And they were willing, the pay scale was so different for this guy that he was I think he was like 16 or 18 years in. And I think if you jump, it resets over again. And the pay scale was so different. This fella was willing to get this job and start over again. Yeah. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that because the money was that different. I think where we were going, they were offering like $1 to start. So for wherever this guy was, he could have been in like the 45 or some shit like that, maybe 50 or 60. And this is a fella that had been doing it for nearly 20 years. But that's that part of it's also unfortunate too, that the people that are sacrificing the most aren't fairly compensated for the risk that they're taking.
No,
I don't believe, like police officers, teachers, like we should be paying those people more.
Absolutely.
They should be better trained. We should have, this is my opinion, the best of the best out there, doing the most dangerous job and a job that you need to be really sharp, about and, have good judgment and be objective and fair and try to be unbiased. And as far as unbiased, because I want to ask for you, is there anything that Are you in situations, I guess, I don't know if you experience a lot of that out here where you have to be, or down there, what did you do? Did you do anything to try to remain unbiased when engaging with the community down there? Or what do police officers do in general?
I guess that would all depend on the individual officer, that
Yeah.
person's, story, their upbringing, how
Yeah.
they, came into this world, how they interact with people, how they were taught about certain people, whether it be a positive or negative way.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some, and it's true, you're gonna get some police officer who aren't used to being around black people,
Yeah.
or being around, Hispanic people. You're gonna get police officers not used to being around white people.
Yeah.
So in some situations, there's gonna be bias there. Me personally, I've interacted with everybody. Not to say that I haven't been biased. I'm sure I can't think of a situation now, but have I been biased? I'm pretty sure I probably have been at some point.
You're human.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all biased. It's a part of the human process. It's how we process information, categorize it, and determine what is and isn't dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be biased, especially working down there. A bias could save your life.
Yeah.
Like, if you see a guy that's walking a certain way, moving a certain way, it's like we might have to keep an eye on him. You know what I mean? Because you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Man could have been out there his whole life, and you know what I mean. His nickname's Steph Curry, and he's shooting 7 for 10 from the thing because he's pulling up the pole with the switch. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
it could not be that, but
I mean, I pulled a gun. Me and my partner, when we was working at Temple, my man Tim, we pulled a gun off of a 9-year-old once. The 9-year-old, I think the other kid was like 12, and the other kid might have been like same age, 12 or 13. 9-year-old had the gun. We said to the two other kids who were, bigger and taller, like, how he telling y'all what to do? They were like, because he got the gun.
that's
I was
crazy.
like, he got the gun. He was like, would he use it? Now I'm having a conversation because now I'm interested. Because we just pulled a gun off a fucking 9-year-old.
Yeah.
It's just wild. Would he use it? And he's like, yeah, he would.
Yeah, of course. There's a 9-year-old. He's probably more likely to use it than an older person because he has no discernment, no ability to judge it, no way to assess what happens down the future from that action. They're irrational, illogical. Like, he's dangerous as shit.
Yeah.
He's the most dangerous person to ever wield a gun. A 9-year-old. That's crazy. Unbelievable. I didn't even know that it was going down like that.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
9-year-old clutching. What?
Straight up.
How'd that happen? My mind's blown right now. How'd you find a 9-year-old?
They were stick up kids. They was down at Temple robbing students.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And at the time, what was on this, this, what they call it a task force, criminal, like a high crime task force. It was me, my man, and 2 other dudes that we worked with. And our responsibility was just to attack the high crime areas, attack the major incidents, high priorities, what they call part ones. And we was just interacting with that. We worked with a lot at the time before we both switched over to Philly. We worked closely with the Philadelphia Police Department and, got intelligence and stuff like that. So at the time, there was, obviously a situation where on the west side of the campus, Temple students were getting robbed, and they were getting robbed by what they were described as young black males.
Yeah.
So I think, I forget how it went down, but it was in the middle of the daytime, and I think we rode up on them. They was getting ready to jump on somebody, and we just happened to ride down the street, right behind them. One bullet looked back. We jumped out. They didn't even run. And what y'all doing? This and that. Talking to them. Rapping to them, whatever the case may be. And then one thing led to another conversation, and we pulled the gun off the 9-year-old. He ain't pull it on us. They ain't run, and frankly, they ain't give a fuck. They didn't care.
Damn.
Yeah, they didn't care. You got a gun on you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it to me. All right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I? That's crazy. I can't even imagine. Imagine you down there and you don't even realize that your chances of getting stuck up by adolescent is there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. That's wild, man. And it's worse now. Because I think
clutching.
Yeah, I think these kids out here, they don't give a fuck about nothing. They take your life and that's it. It's cool. They cool with that. It's just different. it's a different world. Let's just say like the world that my daughter's growing into, it fucking terrifies me.
Yeah, it almost seems like the world is devolving fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though we're going forward, the morals and ethics are going backwards.
Yeah.
And it's happening at a rate of speed that's unbelievable. I don't even know what to attribute that to. Actually, to think about it, I think it has to do with the rate of poverty and the lack of opportunity and the speed at which that is happening. And it's like, the gap between the rich and poor, and it seems like just the middle class is being wiped out. It's like almost everyone's poor if you're not making a buck a piece. You know what I mean? So it's like, as the opportunities get few and the resources are low, and everyone's just packed into this small thing. Yeah, that's how you in America create a 9-year-old out there clutching, ready to lift the pole on you. That's
straight up.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And that being your reality is it's just a wild thing to have to deal with, for you to know that, damn. That's why I see why you keep saying about, like, this is a scary world for your daughter, because most of us don't know there's a 9-year-old out there clutching. Like, you experience it. He's probably not the first one, not the only one. Like, he's the leader of a crew out here robbing. He's 9. So, yeah, for you to have to deal with that and carry that around, I could see why you'd be terrified.
Yeah, it's wild. Cause and not only that, it's like, were there evil, was there bad things that I experienced down there? Yeah, but there was a lot of good stuff down there too. There's a lot of positive young boys down there. A lot of young boys that go to school, young boys that wanted to do something with themselves. Young boys want to, like, hey, I want to be a cop, or hey, I want to do this, or hey, I want to do that. Maybe something like totally unrelated to police work. Yeah. And me and my man, we would sit there. And it wasn't nothing for us to jump out the car and just bust it up with. It wasn't always us getting active and locking people up and shit like that. Like, we would get out the car and bust it up with the young boy. My partner, he had a gift of gab, so he has a gift of gab, so he was able to, because he's from the streets, so he was able to pull the young boys aside, like, hey, don't do it this way, do it this way. Yeah. And some of them will listen and some of them wouldn't, but we were able to get some of them to listen. Yeah. We would run into some of them later on in life, and they was, in culinary school, or, one young boy went to the military. Like, it was some cats that we came across that we were able to speak to and had a positive outcome result.
Yeah, impact to make a difference. Yeah, that's what's up. So that right there, I would assume, offsets the balance for you a little bit, knowing that in the world of a whole lot of bad shit that you are doing some good. You know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Try to, man.
Yeah.
You can't reach everybody, but you can reach one. I guess that's better than not reaching nobody.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing for you. Did you know that was going to be a part of the experience when becoming a cop? Like, did you know that you were going to get that from it?
No, not at all. I never thought that, because I'm nobody special. I
disagree, but go ahead.
Yeah, but like, I can have a conversation with a young boy from North, and I'm having a conversation about experiences I've never had.
Yeah.
He can actually teach me about some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can have that conversation with him about, like, trying to do something better than whatever his situation he's into now. Like, hey, like, yeah, I ain't from down here, but my man, he's knowledgeable about what's going on down here.
Yeah.
I'm learning. There's another way. There's a positive way.
Yeah.
And, you get able to get them to listen, then cool. If they don't, then move on to the next person.
Yeah, it is interesting for kids and humans in general that if you aren't able to see anything outside of the world that you know and experience, you have no awareness of its existence. Like, you think that's the only way because that's the way you've seen it done 1,000 times. Like, I got to talk to this person that way. Anytime there's an altercation, it's got to be met with violence. Like, I can't smile because they think I'm weak. Like, all these types of things that in an environment like that, you think you just have to be. And then you go into the world with that, and that shit don't really work at all,
Yeah.
So I understand why a lot of them, though I'm not from that either, I get it to an extent, Yeah, I get it.
Together, you go in those situations, you go in those environments, like, especially being a police officer wearing a uniform, you can't go to somebody's backyard and act like you know more about that area than they do.
Yeah.
Like, you got to respect where that person comes from, whether it be, from North Philly to, the countryside somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with a person's environment, what their culture is, whatever the case may be, you can't walk up in their house and, tell them what what you want them to do.
Yeah.
Try to tell them how to live their life in a sense. You can do your job and be effective, but you got to be respectful at the same time.
Yeah.
Are there some times that you got to jump in somebody's ass? Yeah, of course, that comes with the job. But to go in there and just completely just go in and just disrespect somebody because you feel like you can, like that ain't happening. It ain't never been how me and my partner or any of my partners like operate.
Yeah. Jumping in ass was crazy. But
Pause. Super pause.
Oh man, I'm just messing with you. Damn, I forget.
I ain't catch that. That was quick. I ain't catch that. That was,
Yeah, but it's nice that you have that awareness that you go down there, and even though you look like them, you still respect what they got going on, and that you're new to this environment, and try to make a connection on that way, not just using your blackness as a way to connect. Yeah, that's what's up. That you have that awareness.
Absolutely.
Did you have that always, or were you from the beginning, from the rip? Did you have that, or was that something that you had to learn?
Yeah, because I had to, because it was never a situation where, at least going to that area, it wasn't like I wear a uniform, so when I step out the car, people are gonna listen to me. Nah, that's maybe out here that you can get away with that a little bit more, but down there, no, it's you. In order to get respect, you gotta give it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we operate. I don't give a fuck about you because you got a uniform on.
Yeah.
That means nothing to me. And that you got to approach that situation. With me being in law enforcement, and then my old head teaching me about the streets, like I was able to learn over time how to maneuver.
Yeah, I like that. You done evolved into a whole grown up man out here.
Yeah. Trying to, man.
I like that for you. So I wanted to ask you another question. Damn, I totally forget what I wanted to ask you. Oh yeah, I wanted to speak on the situation that you and I were in when we crossed paths. It was like a year or two. No, it's probably like 3 years ago or something like that. But either way, this was at the height of when social media was really promoting the negative police interactions a lot. And like the rest of the world, I was consuming a lot of that and not realizing that I'm probably being targeted. Like how the algorithm works, I think it sends you the stuff that really enrages you. I noticed that for a lot of people. And I was consuming a lot of that, and I think it was having me on edge. Although I'm not out there doing nothing. Like I'm legal driving, I'm slow lane, all that stuff. Still, when you see police, I was just seeing so many videos of black people dying, this person getting shot, just nothing positive. It was all negative. It's all you would see. So when I got pulled over, I was a little bit on edge, a little bit anxious, and it was a white cop. And then I didn't even know you were there. So I get pulled over. I'm paying attention to him mostly. And then I see you tuck your head out of the corner. Ew. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So just the fact that seeing a familiar face put me at ease, and seeing, a black face also helps. So I think that, having a black face in the county is very helpful to it. How's your experience been as a black officer in the county?
It's different. You come from a larger department where, there's more people there that look like you, or there's more people there that maybe don't look like you, but, it can relate to you in one way or another.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issues. Does it get lonely sometimes? Yeah, because there's an obvious cultural difference.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, you come from where you come from, and I come from where I come from. There's no animosity or hate between whoever, be me or whoever else. It's just we're just different people, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, you have your way of doing things, and I have my way of doing things. I leave work, I go with my homies who are predominantly, like the core group are predominantly black, but I got, two of my best friends are white.
Yeah.
One of my other best friends is Asian. I've interacted with a mixture of people.
Yeah.
So it's all right. It's cool.
Yeah, I get it.
It's nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
But it's definitely different. But I really have no complaints at the end of the day.
Yeah. Speak on that for me real quick. You said that you have this group that you have formed a bond with, and it's how many? How many men?
It's about 8 of us.
8 all. Are they all black?
All black. Yeah.
All black officers. You all met in the same. Just tell me about that group. I'll let you explain it a little bit.
So all that group kind of formed as a result of us first starting off working together in districts, us going through hardships of losing Rob. One of my other homies, he got shot in the line of duty. Luckily, praise be to God that he wasn't killed as a result of it. All of us have all been in different situations one way or another. So we have a group chat called The Circle, and we obviously all black men. We hold each other accountable. The way we hold each other accountable, I guess you could say, is in that group of The Circle, we have a gavel, and whenever one of us is doing something positive or whenever one of us is doing something fucked up, the accountability and the respect and the conversation is in the same in a sense. And if I got an issue, if I'm doing something fucked up and two of my homies have an issue with it and they want to have a conversation with me, we all having a conversation. We get the gavel, we all sit at the table, slam the gavel, and we argue it out. Or we praise each other. It's one of those two things. We make plans about the next trip. Like we hit the gavel, we air it out, we argue, we fight, whatever the case may be, or we laugh, we joke, we drink, whatever, smoke cigars. And then at the end of the day, everybody get off your chest, yep, bang the gavel again, and then we proceed as we did before.
I like that. Do you think that having that camaraderie and that togetherness with this group of men, has that helped you evolve as a man, as a person, as a cop?
Absolutely. I would say, we have conversations, the good and the bad, when it comes to police work, but we also have conversations when it comes to life too, because we all have an understanding like there's life outside of this. You can't have your whole life consumed in police work.
Yeah.
Like it's extremely unhealthy.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. And we try to make it a point to be that way with each other. Like, let's talk about something that's not cop related.
Yeah. I like that you say that, because I noticed that the police officers that seem to be the most problematic are the ones that identify with it. You know, like they think they are police. It's like, that's just your job, bro. You know what I mean? Like when you take that thing off, you're just a man like everyone else. Like, you're not police.
Yeah.
You're not the law. You just enforce the law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
when I first started the job, like I fell victim to that because it was new, it was cool, it was my dream coming true, it was being a police officer, and everywhere I went, I was a cop.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, time the fuck out. Wait a minute. As years gone by, like we go out somewhere, I don't want to hear about fucking who you pulled over, who you locked up, what you investigating, because during the time, or even still now, you ever heard of the Irish goodbye?
No.
This I guess a term people use where, you're somewhere and then you're not.
Oh, you just dip off.
Oh, yeah. So if I'm out with a group of friends and we're having a conversation about cop work, I didn't come here for this.
Oh, you dipping?
I'll get up and I'll walk out.
Yeah.
Yo, where do I go? I'm at the next spot.
Yeah.
Or I'm at the crib.
I like that.
I'm not doing that.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, boundaries.
Yeah.
I like that for you. That's probably why you seem today, you present as a balanced person, because you've found these boundaries and a way to, make sure, compartmentalize and section off pieces of your life and be brother, be dad, be police, not be just one thing.
It's hard to do it all. It's hard. It's impossible to do it all. I mean, you deal, at least me, you deal with depression, obviously, because of the things I've been through. You deal with the stresses of work and trying to make sure you're a good dad and a good son and everything else in between. If you have everything kind of together, then you're gonna snap on somebody. Something's gonna break at some point.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to. When I leave work, I shut it down, turn it off. Do it. Sometimes I have stressful days. Yeah, I'll turn it off, and then now with my daughter, now I'm in dad mode. That's a different kind of sweat. That's a different kind of stress. Like when you left from one stress to, all right, turn the cop off, turn the dad on. All right, baby girl, what's up? And then you got to deal with somebody bossing you around. Daddy do this, daddy do that.
What does it feel like to have the power of the badge? To be able to walk up on somebody and basically, I don't want to say demand, but there's a certain level of respect that police officers get and probably feel entitled to. I don't know, right or wrong. Just what does it feel like to have that sort of leverage over people? Is there any kind of feeling that comes with it, like the power? Because
Yeah.
you wield a certain amount of power. What is that?
When I first started this job, I would say I felt, I was feeling myself a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like all new officers are, no matter where you come from and your background.
It's out there slapping people around.
It's out there just fucking getting wild.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then as you progress in this career and you go through different things and you experience different things, the way I approach me wearing a badge now, I approach it where the person that I'm going to come across or have an interaction with today, they don't give a fuck about my cop. So if I have that general idea or knowledge or feeling going into it, then I feel like I can approach that situation respectfully, and then I get the same respect back.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense though, because you're not walking into it feeling like, hey, you got to respect me because I'm a police. You know that, hey, we're on equal footing here. Let me try to engage in this interaction accordingly. Yeah, I get that. And I noticed when the interaction goes bad, it's typically the guys that feel like they're up here and you're down here, and you're like, oh, brother, this ain't that. Let's not go that route. But I've always had, being as a person that lives in the county, I've always had amazing interactions with police. All the stuff that I see on TV, it's never happened to me. I've never had that experience. So there was really no reason that I should felt like that when I got pulled over and you were there. It was
but you said it, it's the algorithm.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just you.
Yeah.
It was everybody, including cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody was on edge.
Yeah, and I'm clutching too.
Yeah.
And I'm reluctant to even tell the police that, because I see so many videos where that goes wrong, where I'm just like, I'd rather just not. As long as we don't have to. Like, I know you probably don't love that situation, but me at least, I typically don't tell them because I just don't want to have to reach for it. Like, I don't want to do that. So as long as I come in peace and you come in peace, just give me my citation. I'm just gonna go, because I feel like if I let you know that I have that, that's going to change things. That's definitely going to change things, because you're gonna feel a certain way, because you know that I'm in the whip and I got something that could end your life. So and you probably would want to know that. Of course you would want to know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just try to avoid that interaction, me personally. How about you? In that interaction, would you prefer that? I don't even know if it's the law or not. If you pull up on a law-abiding citizen like myself, and I'm concealed carrying, would you want me to notify you that I have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to have communication, at least about that. And then the way I look at it is, if you're abiding by the law and letting me know you have it, then we both know that you have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I trust, like, okay, you told me.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't expect any issues out of this situation.
Yeah. For when I lean over and grab the shit, and then you're like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah.
And then, every cop will handle the situation differently, whether it be, hey, well, can I hold on to it right now for my safety? Or there's times like, all right, cool, like, where's it at? Well, it's on me, or it's in my glove compartment. We interacting, we cool, I'm cool, and we can have a conversation. Is that the right way to do it? Probably not, but, like, I've done it before.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one. I don't give a fuck what cop out there say differently. Like, if you got a good vibe about a person, if your spidey sense is tingling, that's a real thing, especially in this job.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
If you ain't tingling and I'm letting you know I got this, just want to here's my card, just want to let you know what's going on. All right, cool.
Yeah,
you can have a civil conversation with somebody and not, oh shit, they got a gun, I gotta fucking call the SWAT team, get back up here. I need to fucking, crouch behind the car and just to have a conversation with them. You put get your lights through your window so I can see the back of your head and see your arms and your hands and shit like that. Like, it's good to be cautious, but you don't have to be overly cautious at all times.
Yeah. That's where I think bias comes into play. The way you just said, like, you've got to be able to judge a situation. And I personally think it's better to acknowledge that as humans, we have biases. You know what I mean? Police and all. So that way, if you acknowledge that you have this bias, let's treat that accordingly. Yeah. Let's acknowledge it and work how to deal with it. So that way, when you go into a situation, like, all right, I'm being a little biased here. Let me try to be more objective, or make this exchange a bit more fair, rather than just act like you don't have bias and just show up and just be biased as hell. You know what I mean? So I think it's better to acknowledge them. I don't know. I don't know how it works in policing or anything.
Every situation is different.
Yeah, personal opinion on it. One more question
I got you.
for you before we wrap up. This is a hard diversion. I'm throwing a curve on the inside of the plate. I wanted to ask you how you feel about police brutality, if you have any opinion on it. And before you answer that, I don't want to get you in a trick bag here, and have you answer some
Yeah.
goofy ass question. So basically, they define police brutality as excessive and unwarranted use of force. So I imagine, like any normal person, you're going to say police brutality is not a good thing,
Yeah.
But I'll give you, you know, figured I'd just throw it out there.
I mean, nobody out here. I just want to clear the air here because I know hearing it from a cop or just anybody in general, but there's not a cop wearing the uniform right now that are out here doing what they're supposed to be doing, who thinks police brutality is a good thing. It does not fucking exist.
Yeah.
I think people get confused where police brutality is going on and the police aren't saying anything about it. There's cops out here in uniform that are speaking up about other cops doing fucked up shit every fucking day. Every day. Is cops getting fired? Is cops getting suspended? If it's something, if it's something that bad that a cop is doing that other cop sees, it's being acknowledged. It's being addressed. It always has been.
Mm-hmm.
I think because we live in a world of social media and the need to know everything first. Like, if you're a cop and I'm a cop and you do something bad and I say something, I'm not jumping to social media and say, "Hey, everybody, we had a bad cop here. He did something fucked up." I'm just letting y'all know that we handled it. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not. Mm-hmm. It's not possible. It's not even possible.
Yeah.
So I disagree with police brutality. Does police brutality exist? Absolutely, it exists. But is it being addressed by other men and women in law enforcement? Yeah, it is. I mean, in Philadelphia, or just any city, you hear about shit. Somebody doing something stupid on the news, and they're fired or locked up, or whatever the case. They go through the legal process, whatever the case may be. Like, it's being addressed. But just because you hear about that one situation doesn't mean there's 10 other situations that aren't being addressed too.
Yeah. So there is some accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Police brutality is clearly looked down upon within the policing community, and specifically coming from you. I figured that was the answer. I just wanted to give you the choice. That would be like me asking, how you feel about spousal abuse? And me being like, well, I think I kind of, what I mean? Like, no, we don't like that shit.
Yeah.
So, one more question, even though I said that was the last one.
No. Take it.
Shit. What do you think? Why do you think that the negative aspects of policing are put to the forefront and presented more so than the positive? Like, why don't we see more of the good stuff, or the giveaways, or the cops in the community, or any of the positive engagements, as opposed to all the bullshit? Like, why do we just see mainly bullshit?
Well, when it comes to
about?
the positive engagements, those are happening.
Yeah.
Every day.
Absolutely.
All over the place.
I've had several.
Yeah. Different community relations, and getting book bags and school supplies for kids, or helping kids with scholarships to go to college. All that is being done. It's being broadcasted at times. It's, hey, this is what we're doing. But do people give a fuck at the end of the day? Mm. Like, a cop doing something fucked up is going to gather more attention than the cop doing something positive. That's just, unfortunately, is the way things are right now.
Yeah.
The way they have been.
You think the outrage just is more valuable than the positivity?
Well, yeah, because I guess depending on the situation, people flock and pay attention, and it's natural because of the mistakes that some police officers have made over the last decade, or even more than that, 100 years, you could say. So the bad things are always going to be recognized, because the public's attitude is police officers, given the right situation, can legally kill somebody.
Yeah.
And, whenever a cop does something bad, that's just going to be, it's expected to be blown up. And there's times that, like I said, me and my homies, we have this conversation and we talk about it all. And if a cop does something fucked up, we have a conversation about it. hey, this is what I agree with, this is what I don't agree with. Or situations like, oh, what the fuck was he thinking? Like what was she thinking? Like what?
So every time something happens, you guys aren't just like, yeah, he was right, he was justified, he was this. You guys look through it and peel back
Nah,
the
we look
layers.
through it and peel back, because there's a like a level of training experience in situations that a lot of times the public don't understand. So there might be a situation where a cop does something, and based on our training and experience, like what that person did may have been justified, but the public, they're not trying to hear that shit because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. You know what I mean? So like I said, like, yeah, something happens, it comes to the group chat, or we do it in person, and you might get one person that agrees and 7 that don't, or you get 7 that do, and vice versa, what that case may be. Like, it's not always a situation like because that person was a cop, that person was right.
Yeah.
That's not how we operate.
Yeah, I like that. Some objectivity. So, lastly, what do you think would could help policing? What kind of resources or what do you think that police officers need? Be it more training, more money, more this, more that. What do you think could help, or the public perception of police? How do we make all of it better? If you had any suggestion, not a magic wand, just a little suggestion.
I mean, all of the above.
Yeah.
More training, more money, more bodies, more personnel to be able to do the job. Like, policing is in 2024, it's not a job that people want to do.
Yeah.
So the police ranks and police officers, not just in the state but in this entire country, it's a profession that's like dwindling.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do the job anymore because of the good and the bad and everything in between. I know cops that have resigned from their position because the job is just too stressful for them. They're just fuck the retirement, fuck the pension, I'm out.
Yeah.
So
unfortunate.
More money, more resources, more personnel. These parents gotta get with these kids. They gotta be just as active. There's no reason why, like, I should know more about what your kid's doing out on the street than you do. Like, you got to be involved in your children's lives, not to tell the parents what to do, but like, it's important. Like,
I understand.
go in the rooms and flip them beds over. Like, your kids got guns, your kids are selling drugs, your kids are probably doing some shit they're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then on the positive aspect, like when the police department's having something, like the benefit or something like that, to benefit or help the community, show up and have conversations with people in uniform. Realize that we are humans. Most of us are.
Yeah.
And you can engage in a conversation with us and not going to be, I'm a cop. You can't talk to me. There's dudes out there that are like that.
Yeah, a couple robots.
Yeah, a couple robots, but not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
So come stop by the police station and like, hey, and you see somebody out, a cop out, engage in conversation. Don't be walking into a store with your kid and you point to the cop and you tell your kid, you better be good or I'm gonna have him lock you up. That's like the worst. I fucking hate that shit. Yeah. Because you're teaching your child something bad.
Yeah, to fear him.
To fear.
Yeah, like he's the enemy. Yeah, I get it. That's definitely creating a.
So it's like you said, not the magic wand. It's not one thing. It's a collective of many things that could be done differently to what we call bridge that gap.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a one right answer for that.
Yeah, definitely not. Just your personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think my personal opinion is that cops should be paid better. I think they should be the highest paid. I think all public servants, a public servant, if you're serving the public, the teachers, the cops, I don't know about some of the politicians, but those people should be paid better, and the accountability should therefore be higher. So that way you get the best teachers, and you get the best, the brightest, the sharpest, the most empathetic, the best police officers making the best money. And I think that would make a better situation. Better training, just better everything.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Better, definitely better pay.
Yeah.
Better benefits, better it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's no reason why, you have somebody either putting their life on the line or they're putting their families aside or they're putting themselves aside to make sure that you or your child is doing good in life. That's your responsibility. It's the community has to get, not just the parents, but the community got to get with these kids and just pull them in and have a conversation with them, something.
Yeah.
But like you said, police officers, nurses, teachers, doctors, like everybody. I mean, I know teachers that are heavily engaged with their students, and they are paid like shit.
Yeah.
I know cops in major metropolitan cities, if you want to call it, that are getting paid like shit, and they're dealing with 3, 4, 5 times as much as somebody who's working in the county.
Yeah.
I can say that because I've been on both sides.
Yeah.
And the truth is the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, my work day now isn't what somebody else's work day who's at work right now. Mm-hmm. Somebody at work right now is probably dealing with a shooting in Philadelphia right now.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but until that changes, you're going to keep getting people that are not interested in doing those jobs, and once that goes away, we're going to have a serious problem.
Yeah, the person that has to bear the burden of dealing with a shooting or their partner losing their life should probably be compensated a little bit better than the person that has to worry about getting the email there promptly, And I think it's just a system that creates men and women that feel undervalued and underappreciated, and therefore they show up to work with a chip on their shoulder, and they're probably going to take it out on the public.
Yep.
So
show up with a bad attitude.
Yeah.
You come into work, you got people, your coworkers or your supervisor, somebody fucking with you, or you worked all year, you did your taxes or some shit, and you ain't get nothing back.
Yeah. You taking that out on the streets.
You ain't make no money last year. You had to work every day, and you was away from your wife or your husband and your children on Christmas, Thanksgiving, any holidays you can think of. You had to spend that time away to make the money that you should be making in the first place, to make more money you should be making in the first place. So yeah, I mean, they say money doesn't buy you happiness, but more money to people doing these professions would probably make them a lot more happy than they are now.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we need. We need happy, less stressed out men and women behind these guns and badges and power.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I feel like you make a good detective. You ever thought about that?
I am a detective.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Shit, I didn't even know.
Yeah,
oh, that's what's up. Congratulations, though. I guess that's why I'm feeling the vibe then. So, I call you police officer, Detective Ryan Saunders.
Yeah, okay. For about 3 years now.
Congrats,
man.
man.
Appreciate you, brother.
I love that for you. You seem like the dude. You just real smooth. Like you, and the funny thing is, you always been that dude.
Yeah.
Just cool. I never caught you doing too much, never doing the most, just regular, just always in your own lane, barely veer outside of that. Yeah, I feel like you're perfectly suited for that.
Yep.
That's what's up,
about 3 years now, so.
Nice. Is it kind of quiet out here?
It's different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening in the world and people know, and obviously with the type of job that I do, it's my and the people I work with and for and around responsibility to kind of keep the public away from the bad stuff as much as we can. You know what I mean? Is it like anywhere close to Philly? No, not even close, but it's a different kind of busy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't even realize that was part of it. Mm-hmm. But before I take you down a whole nother path, man, I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming out and just showing love. I appreciate you showing up.
Appreciate you having me, man. Definitely.
Thank you for doing the job that you do, genuinely.
Man.
Man.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you, sir.
All right, brother.
Detective Ryan Saunders.
Yes, sir. That's dope, man.
Clip that button on the bottom. I'll shut your mic off. Just hit it once.
Just one time?
Yeah. There you go. Your mic's not hot no more. Ooh, back.
Blinking? Or is it?
Oh, that's okay. As long it's they're both off.
Okay.
Nice. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to The Awakened Avoidant. We hope our convo has provided you with insight, inspiration, and healing energy. As you go about your week, let's continue to work together to heal ourselves and our community. Stay safe and continue to spread healing vibes wherever you go. Catch a new episode Wednesday weekly on all platforms.
Strawberry vinegar, red